guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new I Don't Work Here Lady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled, Best Service I've Gotten All Day. After working in retail, there is nothing I hate more than rude customers. I can't stand people most of the time because of it. A little background for this story. I get my tires changed over in the spring at Costco every year. Because I bought my tires there, they give me a good discount. They just started allowing you to book appointments for tire changes online, so you don't have to show up and hope that they have time to change your tires. But by doing this you can't really come in for walk-ins at all, since they're typically all booked for the day. Now to the story. It's a little before 2 p.m., and there is a long line up for the automotive department. My car's tires are all changed, and I'm just waiting to pick my keys up. There is a middle-aged couple in front of me complaining about the wait. All the typical. What's taking them so long? Why aren't there more people working? Why are they so bad at their jobs? It's not that hard. At one point they even turned around to me, to ask me if it's usually this long of a wait. After listening to them for 10 minutes, it's finally their turn. And guess what? They didn't have an appointment, shocker, and they drove from really far away, so they need to be squeezed in. After the lady at the desk repeatedly told them, "I'm sorry, we can't possibly squeeze you in, we are completely full," the couple yell a few choice words at the woman about how this is terrible customer service, yada yada, before moving along. I grab my keys from the girl, apologize that she had to deal with all of that, and walk out to my car. As I go to unlock my car, I see the annoying couple unloading their cart into their trunk. The couple then decided to just prop their cart up on the grass instead of walking the literally 10 meters to the cart return. Like it took more effort to prop it up on the grass than I would to walk to cart to the return. At this point, I'm so livid. First they cuss out the poor desk girl, then they disrespect the cart people by not walking the short distance to the return. So I walk over to their cart, glare at them, and return their cart, without saying a single word. The couple then proceeds to pull up next to me in their car, and the guy yells out, "Hey, thanks. That's the best service we've gotten all day from you, crappy store. You guys really need to work on your customer service." I can't contain myself anymore, so I reply with, "I don't work here, you're just being a complete and utter a-hole. You treated the girl inside like crap, now you're treating the cart return guys like crap because you're too lazy to walk 10 meters. And you're so ignorant you didn't even notice I was the one standing behind you the whole time. You even complained to me. Maybe if you weren't such an entitled ass you'd get better service." The look on his and his wife's face was worth every second of that. Of course he proceeded to tell me to duck off, and I was just some dumb little girl who didn't know what the duck I was talking about. But I just flipped him off and got into my car. I can't yell at those a-hole at work, so it felt amazing to do so as another customer. The next story is titled, Lady Thinks I Work at a Gas Station. Freaks out on the owner for telling the truth. So this story starts with my dad pulling into a gas station while we were on a road trip. I had to go to the bathroom, so I ran inside while my dad put a bit of air in the tires and got gas. As soon as I step out of the bathroom, Karen looks at me and says, "Finally someone who works here, done with your extended break yet?" I looked at her and said the famous line, "I don't work here." Karen cut me off and said, "I know you work here, I saw you talking with that man outside." I'm pretty short and obviously young, so I have no idea how she even mistook me for an employee, so I repeat again, "I don't work here," to which she slams the door, glass, of the gas station, which promptly shattered. My dad heard this and immediately ran to the store. "Dad, what is happening here?" "Karen, this employee refuses to help me and claims he doesn't work here, I want him fired." At this point a real employee comes out of the back room to see what's happening. When the employee realizes the door is broken, she calls the owner, who arrives in the middle of my dad and I, telling Karen that I don't work there and am 13. The owner shows up and tells her the exact same things we said, to which Karen decides to yell, "Why are you deffending this employee? He was lazy and should be fired," followed by her throwing a bunch of stuff from an aisle on the ground and storming out. We ended up getting free snacks and saw Karen's car on the side of the highway being pulled over by the cops. We made sure to slow down and give her a nice wave when we drove by. "Thanks for the free snacks, lady." The next story is titled, I am totally allowed to park in your driveway and block you from driving out because I am older than you. The next story is titled, I live right next to a small forest that is filled with gravel paths meant to be used by people to walk, ride their bicycles on, or even ski during winter. Because of COVID, people have been more anxious to get outside, so the small parking lot next to the forest is usually overflowing with cars, especially in the weekends. People are forced to park on my street because there's nowhere else to park. This has caused problems where the cars parked are barely allowing clearance for other cars to drive past, slowing down traffic. People whose driveways are without a gate are putting up signs, asking others not to park in front of their house, blocking their way. Most people respect it, but of course everyone doesn't. In comes the Karen of the story. This was last Saturday. As always, the parking lot was filled, and cars were lining up on the side of the street. I was getting ready to take my moped to the grocery store when I noticed a G-Class Mercedes stop in front of my house, directly in front of the driveway gate. I walk outside to see a middle-aged lady get out of the car, lock the doors, and walk off. Me. Excuse me lady, you are blocking the driveway. Karen. So? You don't seem to be in a big hurry. Me. Actually, I was just setting out. Karen. Well, you can wait until I return, right? Me. I really don't think so. Can't you just move your car to somewhere else? The dirt road on the side of the forest is mostly empty. Karen. My car will get stuck in there. Me. You drive a G-Class, it was meant to go off-road. Besides, it isn't that rough of a road. Even most small hatchbacks can handle it. Karen. Oh my god, your millennials are so disrespecting. I will be going now. I have better things to do than to deal with kids like you. Me. Maybe you want to deal with the police then? Karen. How dare you speak to me like that? I am older than you, you shouldn't talk to me like that. Me. And what are you going to about that? Call the cops? In this situation, they aren't going to do much. Oh, and my parents are away, so no help there. After that she huffed and walked away. I dug out my phone and called the police to let them know that there's a lady with her SUV that refuses to get out of my driveway. The police arrived, looked at the G-Class, talked with me a bit and agreed that if she won't move it herself, then they will. Just when the tow truck arrived, Karen shows up again. Karen. What is going on here? Police officer. Ma'am, your car is blocking a driveway. If you don't move it yourself, we will have to fine you and move the vehicle ourselves. Karen. You really believe what this moron told you? He isn't even old enough to drive. Me. I own a four-wheeled moped. It looks like a small car but is still legally a moped. Police officer. It doesn't matter if he couldn't drive or wasn't planning to go anywhere, you are still parked illegally. Now move your car or you will be fined. Honestly, I was surprised that she wasn't fined in the first place. Karen. Fine, but I will have you know I am married to a rich man who has the power to ruin you if he so chooses. After that she got in her car and drove off. The police stayed there for a while to make sure that nobody else wasn't doing anything like that, and I was finally able to go to the store. The next story is titled, Didn't Get Arrested Because the Officer Thought I Did Work There. This happened about 6 years ago, right before my old car gave up the ghost. The turn signal knob had gotten caught on my coat about a week prior to this and had snapped completely off, sadly taking with it my ability to turn on my headlights. I was leaving my job that night and had been parked up at the road. As I had needed to do for the previous week, I brought a pair of needle-nosed pliers with me so that I could jam them in the steering column where the turn signal knob used to be and manually turn on the headlights. As luck would have it, I had a bit of trouble getting them on that night, but managed to turn them on right as a police cruiser drove past me on the road. He must have seen my ass half hanging out of the car, jamming something into the steering column, because as he rounded the corner and went out of sight I saw reflections of red and blue lights flashing in the trees. Not putting two and two together, I hopped all the way in and got buckled up and shut the door. Next thing I know, I saw that same car go WHOSHING past me at top speed in the opposite direction. Still not figuring it out, I just pulled out and started heading home. In my rear view I saw the cop slam on his brakes and pull a U-turn right as I started to pull into the gas station a few doors down from my job. As I get out of the car, the cop comes flying up into the parking lot and locks it up right behind my car. Then he rolls down the window, squints at me, and says, "Oh, I guess you work here, huh?" And then he backs out and leaves. It wasn't until I went into the gas station that I realized. He thought I was stealing that car. But when he saw me in my khaki slacks and red polo shirt dressed exactly like the cashier was, he figured nobody would steal a car to drive to work. I almost got arrested, but I was saved because I didn't work there, but I looked like I did. The next story is titled I Speak English, but I Don't Work Here. I'm a falconer and I train birds of prey to flush unwanted birds from places for living. My work often brings me to extremely fancy resorts, as this tends to be a bit of a bougie service. On this particular day I was working at a 5-star resort. Only millionaires and billionaires stay here, so people tend to be entitled, keeping pigeons from their restaurant patio. I don't have a uniform, but I usually dress in nice hiking attire, and all the restaurant employees wear clearly marked uniforms with aprons and name tags. I had my phone plugged in behind the hostess podium, so I went in to check on it, hawk in hand. While I was responding to a text, a presumably rich white lady approaches me and says, "And there will be other people joining my party, so can you just..." I start to cut her off by waving a hand and shaking my head, but before I can indicate that she's talking to the wrong person, she responds with, "Oh, you don't speak English," as she rolls her eyes. You should know that I am half Filipino and half white, giving me an ambiguously ethnic look, although I grew up in Southern California and Central Florida. Taken aback by this, I accidentally jerked my hawk back, causing him to flash his wings. This startled the rich white lady, and said, "Actually, I speak plenty of English, but I don't work here, lady." You'd think the big hawk on my glove would give that away. She was unfazed and continued on her way, but her 2 teenage daughters were absolutely mortified. It turned out to be the funniest thing to happen to me all month. The next story is titled Lady, I'm about the same height as their freezers, I really don't work here. I'm in a wheelchair, but I'm not paralyzed. This is relevant to the story. I can stand and walk for brief and often painful periods, but mostly I'm in a chair. While I can't drive, I can use cars which aren't kitted out for wheelchairs, because I can get myself from wheelchair to seat, and my chair folds up and fits in the back of most cars. I rely on friends, family, public transportation, and occasionally taxis to get me places to do my shopping. I can get most places by myself, but getting back with shopping proves an issue. Today I was in my local town at a shop which specializes in frozen foods. It's set out with rows of large freezers and then shelves above those. The tops of the freezers are about level with my shoulders, and I can't reach anything on the shelves. They wear a uniform which is red and black with the shop's name on them. I'm wearing jeans and a blue t-shirt. I've done my shopping when I get a message from the friend who has been my lift into town. Her car's battery is dead. She's had to call her mechanic to come and give her a jump start. I realize I probably can't get from the shop to the car park before her mechanic gets there and jump starts it, so I tell her I'll wait in the shop if she could swing around and pick me up from there. The shop is, understandably, colder than outside, and I have frozen food in my bag. Which is how I came to be sitting in my chair by the exit with my smaller shopping bag next to me, playing on my phone and waiting for a message to tell me the car is working. Random woman. I need some help here. The staff are doing some kind of large restocking, so there's only someone at the checkouts when there are people to check out. She's just come up to the checkout and hasn't been noticed yet. I assume she's talking to one of the staff. Random woman. Louder. Hey. I need to be checked out. Me. Still playing on my phone. Random woman. Stop playing on your phone and start helping me. I look up and there are approximately 0 staff in sight. Also, she's looking at me. Me. What? Random woman. I don't care if you're on your break, it's unprofessional to just sit there and play on your phone when there's a customer. Me. I don't work here, gesturing at my chair and my shopping bag. Random woman. Well, why would you be sitting there if you didn't? Do your ducking job. Me. I don't ducking work here and I'm in a wheelchair. I don't think they'd hire me when I can't reach the ducking shelves. At that moment my phone goes. The car is working again, my friend is on her way, and I'm thanking a variety of gods I don't believe in for an excuse to leave this stupid woman. My little bag goes on my lap, my brakes go off and I turn to leave. She storms over and grabs my handles. Rule 1 of dealing with people in wheelchairs. Don't touch the chair. If it's life or death or they've asked you to push them, that's okay. Otherwise, don't touch my ducking chair. Especially not when I've been shopping and my bigger shopping bag is hanging between the handles, so my balance is a little different. I slam my brakes back on and there's some awkward squeaking between my tires and the floor. Random woman. You're not leaving until you do your job. This commotion has, thankfully, attracted someone who actually does work there. Staff member. Are these yours? Do you still want them? Random woman has left her items on the checkout to come and assault me. Me. Look, someone who actually works here. Now you can duck off. Random woman. I want to see a manager. I want her, gesturing at me. Fired. Staff member. Poor kid was probably trying to articulate that they probably couldn't hire someone in a wheelchair to stock shelves. She doesn't work here. There's a horn honking from outside and my friend is there, so I wheeled off as fast as I could and left the poor staff member to argue with the random crazy person over whether I was employed or not. Who knows, maybe I got fired just to placate her. Sorry, no justice boner here. I just wanted out of there and I needed the ride home too much to make my friend and her poor ailing car wait. The next story is titled Lady Snapped at Me to Get Off My Phone While I Was Picking Up Decorations in a Different Store while on the phone to my boss. Okay, so this happened a few years ago at my first job. I worked at a games arcade in a large shopping center and I loved it. Started there when I was 15 and worked there till I was 19. I ended up getting all my school friends jobs there and I was very close with the boss. It was like a little family. Now we had these black and gray polo staff shirts and we all wore lanyards with the keys on it for convenience. Keep this in mind. Anyway, I think it was like one of the last years I worked there and it was getting around mid-October. So my boss gave me some money and asked me to go buy some decorations from the dollar shop down a few levels and spook the store up a little bit. As someone who loves Halloween and decorating and spooky crap, I was thrilled to do this. Unfortunately, when it comes to spending someone else's money, I'm super paranoid about getting the right thing. So I get down to the store and spend like 10-minute umming and ahhing about what to get, haha. So I decide to call my boss and just run him through what I was thinking of getting for the store, and as I'm explaining to him, this middle-aged lady comes up to me, clearly not very impressed. Excuse me, I need some help here. Surely staff shouldn't be on their phone out on the store floor in front of customers. I turned around, took the phone down from my ear and said, "Oh, sorry but I don't work here," and holy duck, it was the funniest thing ever. I reckon she crap her pants right there and then. After using that tone and crap to me and then realizing I didn't work there, it was ducking brilliant. She apologized and then walked off afterwards and my boss heard the whole thing and I got back to the store and we had a good cackle about it. To be fair though, I was in a work uniform and had a lanyard, so I can understand her confusion, and I would have felt bad for her if she hadn't been an idiot about it. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.